All right, we're back. What is going on? Happy
What's
Easter
happening?
Sunday.
What up?
What's going on? All right, well,
Well, it's not
yeah.
Easter Sunday, Rich. It's
Oh, it's
Trans
Transgender
Visibility Day.
Visibility Day. That's right.
You know, get it right. My
What a
goodness.
swift kick to the nuts. The White House pulls on a big like this is probably one of the biggest religious holidays for Christians, right?
Yeah, it's probably the second one. It's probably second. It's second only to Christmas.
I think it's bigger than Christmas, isn't it? For Christians, I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know,
know.
man.
I mean, when you're talking about I guess there's birth and then rebirth. I mean, it is a big deal. I would say it's probably second only to Christmas, but
Yeah,
it is a big deal for sure. I mean, yeah, 100%.
but got to celebrate Transgender Visibility Day. So happy Transformer Day to all those that are in that
Oh my
world.
God. I mean, it's like they're dangling in people's faces. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're saying, "Do something about it." Like that's really what this is. I mean,
Right?
on some level, you kind of have to respect the balls that these people have. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
even maybe if it's just this much, it's like, wow. Like
yeah.
on this day, to basically tell people, hey, Christians, and we've talked the last couple of shows like where we stand on the whole religion thing and this and that, and it's I'm not personally offended by it. I mean, because I don't celebrate, but I look at this as just like, wow, like these guys are just they don't care. They do not care about pissing off
What do you?
millions and millions of people to acquiesce to the feelings
The
of
virtue
a very,
signal.
very,
Yeah.
very small smidge of them.
What do you? And I don't even think that the transgender community even buys it. Like they're probably like they're still upset about something. So who the hell cares? But
Yeah.
what do you think would happen if a country like I don't know, let's say Saudi Arabia, on a big Muslim holiday said, "Oh, hey guys, it's Transgender Inclusion Day today." They'd lose their
Would never
shit,
happen. It would
right?
be there would be riots in the street. There would be revolt.
They would burn
Um,
down the
Ahmed, bring the
government. I bet.
stones.
yeah,
What's up, Dragos?
get the rocks. Yeah, they would be
Get the
burning
big
down
rocks.
embassies and storming the Capitol.
Seriously,
It just wouldn't happen. Yeah,
evil. This American administration, this Biden administration, is just I don't know. You guys voted for it, so
well,
sleep in your
not
bed,
me.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, man? What do we got on the list here today? Stuff to talk about. What do we got to catch up on? There's that, there's that thing we talked about earlier, and then we've got what else has happened this past week.
Well, you did a
Knowing
show already on this, but I mean, probably remiss if we didn't discuss Huberman at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
what do
I
you
know
want to
you
talk
did a
about? The guy was
video.
spinning some plates, and the girls didn't like it, and some feminist reporter caught wind of his exes and did a hit piece on him.
Yeah,
what's
it's
so surprising is that he's not anti-system. He doesn't do anything against the mainstream. He's just a guy educating people on healthcare.
And that's what a lot of people pointed out. I mean, if you look at the comments on anything out there, like everybody's like, if it wasn't from him, I'd still be drinking. If it wasn't for him, I would have been high like 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it wasn't for him, my sleep wouldn't have improved. So, I mean, when a woman does it, she's strong, brave, and, like you go girl. But when a guy does it, we have to throw a hit piece on him and talk shit about him. It's like, that's just the way the world is.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just funny to me because it's like, what did you think a 48-year-old dude who's in great shape with a very famous podcast, who's rich now? What do you think he was doing? Like, do you think that he was just playing house and he just had your hometown hog wife and three bratty kids? Like, people really think that was happening? Like, no, come on, like wake your eyes, man, or wake up your eyes. But it is interesting that there wasn't anything really particularly. It's a non-article, like it's a non-starter. Like, okay, cool, the guy was maybe a little deceptive with women about what he was going to be giving them and if they were monogamous or not. But it's like he didn't,
But
that's the worst thing
that's
he
like
did.
a
Dude, like,
page right
why
out of
does
the
it
girls' rule
matter?
book, right?
Yeah,
Why does it
exactly.
matter, man? Like, dude, the guy can be into goats for all I care. Why
Wow,
does it
wow.
matter what a researcher is doing in his own time? Like,
Well, it matters because he's helping men. So some feminist writer has to put something together to say, "Oh, but he's damaging women," right?
Right. Don't follow this guy. Don't,
Yeah.
do the XYZ. Don't buy the supplements. Don't listen to the podcast. Come back into mainstream fairy tale land and, um, you know,
You
don't
know
improve your
what I think
life.
is a
Don't get in
paradox
shape.
in all this? That I think this is totally going to backfire, and he's going to get even more of a following.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think people are going to double down. I think it's going to be the
yeah,
people that support him already are going to double down and support him. I think this goes away fairly easily. I mean, I'm not even hearing about it anymore. Like the story broke, and then I
dead
think
story. It's not even a
it's
story anymore.
it's dead, and people are just like, who gives a shit? And he's going to continue putting out content. The only thing that he could do to
Did
really
he make a
screw
statement
himself,
or acknowledge it or
I don't
anything?
think so. I think he put out another video recently or did another podcast, and he just didn't even touch on it. I'm not 100% sure what the
That's
timeline is at this
perfect.
point,
Yeah.
but I think it's like the only way that he could make this worse on himself and screw himself is if he addresses it. I mean, at the very least, if he wants to go, hey, listen, my personal life is my personal life, and that's the end of it. Now let's get on to the show. Then there you go, right? Or you could just not address it at all entirely, which is like the ultimate power move. But if he starts to backpedal, if he starts to apologize, if he's just saying, well, like blah, 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 and then he's just going to screw himself.
He's not even the kind of guy that is pro men or pro masculine. He's super
Yeah,
neutral
he's
from
very
that point of view.
moderate, very neutral on like
Exactly. Yeah. Like
political issues. Like he's not,
I'm an
he's not
academic.
Tate by any means.
Exactly. I'm an academic. This is what I like to do. This is the data. This is what I think the data means. This is how you can improve your life. Get it for free. And somehow that makes him bad.
Well, because the advancement of masculine strength and excellence is toxic, is demonized now. I mean, it's
He used
anything that's
toxic
improving.
masculinity
Yeah.
in the article several times. Like he's
Oh,
a
100%.
toxically masculine male. Like whatever, shut up.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Another thing that is on the horizon and it might hit us soon is the advancement of the AI models. They're becoming like the improvements when you look at the percentages on the scores that they get, like reasoning, maths, coding, stuff like that. They're not that big, right? It's a 5-10% improvement. But what that 5-10% improvement in the scoring allows them to do is groundbreaking. Like I think they will be able to complete complex tasks by the end of this year or by the end of next year. Like for example, having an agent, you tell it what to do, it does its own research, it finds its own reasoning and how to approach the problem, and create agents then to solve each of those challenges so that it finishes and gives you a complete solution at the end. So it's not like a specialized tool anymore. It's way closer to what we think of as AGI.
AGI, what's that? Advanced
Artificial Generalized Intelligence.
artificial general. Okay, got it. Hey, Dragos, can you talk to us a little bit about crypto since that's
Yeah. Give
a
us an update.
big
Yeah,
area
well-
of your expertise?
Yeah, happy days. Happy days.
Yeah.
The market's looking a lot better than when we last talked about this. It seems that the inflows from the ETFs are calming down a bit. I think it's somehow related to the halving, like it's a psychological effect. But nobody was expecting us to have an all-time high before the halving. We might get a dip somewhere in the future.
I think we're in it, aren't we? Like, isn't this the dip that they were talking about before the halving?
I think it's not big enough.
You don't think it's big
Either-
enough? Okay.
Yeah, it should have been more pronounced.
So
And
here's
yeah.
a question for you. So I just organized my watch list, 30 days, and sort it from growth, highest growth to slowest. Arbitrum's right at the bottom in the last 30 days. It's actually down almost 17%. Do you think that still has lots of legs in it still? Because that would be a buy right now.
Well, the point is this. If you're looking for maximum gains, right, you have to look at what the narratives are for each cycle. Like in 2021, we got the DeFi thing where we got all of the layer twos, like what Arbitrum is. and they had massive gains because it was a new thing.
Hmm.
But now that narrative is kind of like old school. So people are going towards other things like real world assets and AI coins and meme coins. These have outpaced the market by a large degree. And the coin that you spoke about, Arbitrum, will be one of the coins that will pump when everything is pumping.
Hmm.
And by that point, like you won't beat the market by investing into Arbitrum, but you won't do bad with it.
What do you think are still undervalued coins?
Well, I've been a fan of Caspa for some time because it's kind of like it trades very cleanly and it doesn't have a demographic of holders that's corrupted in a way. When you have holders that are VCs and big individuals holding a large percentage of the total supply, they can affect the price in ways that is not um, susceptible to technical analysis. So I think Caspa is gearing up for another pump.
Hmm.
It's now at 13 cents. The usual move that it makes is a 4 to maybe 5x. That should get it anywhere between 45 and 60 cents. But since that was like most of the evolution of Caspa and the price that I've been looking at was compared to USDT, not to Bitcoin.
Hmm.
And it hasn't made a big move since this last major pump of Bitcoin. So we might see something beautiful in Caspa somewhere till the summer, July, maybe going up to 60, 70 cents.
You think that much?
I think it has legs to grow because it's done well when the market was low, was down. So right before this euphoria phase, mini euphoria phase that we've seen with the increase of price of Bitcoin from, I don't know, what was it, 35K to 70. So it should be catching up and doing a nice move. That's
Okay,
the
what
coin
else you
that I
got?
like. Sorry.
What else you got?
Another coin that I've seen that has relative strength is Prop Chain. It's a project that does tokenized real estate in Dubai or the Arab Emirates.
What's it called?
Uh,
Proxy?
Prop C.
Propsy.
Yeah,
PRO.
that's the ticker
No,
symbol.
that's Proppy. What's the how do you spell it?
The ticker symbol is
Ticker.
Prop C. Let me put it down in the chat.
Oh, Propsy, so prop chain.
Yeah,
Is that it?
it's if you're looking at it, it's at $4.5.
That's it. Okay.
So that's one of the coins that I'm looking at and has shown relative strength. It's new. It's relatively new. The market cap is not inflated. Other coins that have done good are the meme coins on base, but it might be late now. The major pump, like at 200x or what was it, has already happened. I would reaccumulate on a dip, on a 60, 70, 80% dip. Something else that's maybe not as known is a certain coin named Landwolf on Ethereum. But you have to take care with that because there's three of them. There's Landwolf on Avalanche, which has kind of like not moved that great. And the newer one is another one on Ethereum, which is kind of related to Pepe, I think. Let
That's
me
a meme
find
coin.
it. Sorry?
That's a meme coin.
Yeah, definitely a meme coin. By the way, if anybody wants to invest in these things, just go with like casino money. Like if you want to have some fun, put, I don't know, 5, 6, 7% of what you want to invest in crypto, put it into a meme coin, and that's it. Because if it goes down, it will not hurt or sting. Don't bet the bank on a meme coin.
So don't go out and buy a whole bunch of G-Spot coin
Or nut.
or nut coin. We tried.
Yeah. So that's the So like the one that I'm talking about is at something like what, 7 million market cap. Let me see. Yeah, 6.5. It's at $0.0156 right now at the time of us recording this.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to look for that, you can find it on Dex Screener.
Cool.
Anyway.
What's up, 50 Shades?
Yeah.
I'm doing one of the most stereotypical Irish things. You guys are going to have to guess what it is.
You're
Making
drinking
shepherd's
Irish
pie.
coffee.
Close, Moff. One of the components of shepherd's pie.
Beef.
I'm at Walmart buying a potato peeler.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's total,
Wow.
total
something-
baller move.
Your ancestors would do that with their bare hands, man. It's hard to see how much the Irish have fallen since then.
Yeah, Moff. You just look at the potatoes and their skin would fall off. I know.
Oh, hey. 50, tell us
guys,
about
something else I wanted to
go
say
ahead,
about
George.
crypto, just like a short proposition, is like don't get cute with trying to trade or sidestep coins right now, because you never know when they're gonna pump and you're gonna lose your position. So one mistake that I see beginners doing right now is that they buy a coin, they hold it for 3-4x, and then they exit thinking that they're gonna find something else that's better, and the coin that they just sold continues pumping. And I've seen that, like in a bull market, it's not, unless you know what you're doing, it's not a good idea to lose your position. If you found something that's a winner and that has outpaced the market, most probably it will continue to be doing so until the end of the bull market.
Let me ask you this question. So I've watched a few assessments on where, crypto bro experts on like YouTube think the top will be, and when you want to start to unload and take your profits. And I've heard anything from 130 to 140,000 Bitcoin, and somewhere along the lines of 10 to 14 months from now.
Well, nobody knows, and if anybody says that they have a crystal magic ball or something, and they know exactly when the top is going to be, they're full of bullshit. Yeah. And the narrative that the technical analysts did on the evolution of the price of Bitcoin going to 130, 140K and then stopping there has been blown out of the water by this recent pump. So like everything they knew and everything they said was based on the assumption that we won't get this master magic pump before the halving. Mm-hmm. And that the scenario that would have given us a 130, 140K top somewhere in December would have been valid if we would have had a retracement back at the $50,000 level, right? Like if we got to $50,000, dumped 30, 40%, and then continued slowly grinding upwards, that is where the top would have been. Right now, the latest, I don't know what it's called as prediction, expectation, ballpark figure is somewhere closer to 200K. But again, all of these predictions are less accurate the further ahead you're looking. So like it's more accurate to know or guess where the price would be in 3 months than it is to know where the price would be in 6 months or 12 months. So it's very hard, and you kind of have to take it step by step and see what's moving and what the new players are and what they're doing. For example, we kind of all thought that the ETFs were a flop. You remember when they started trading and the price didn't do anything, and then the mother of all inflows started happening, and we got something like, I don't know, a few $100 million net inflow per day on the trading days. So that kind of like you need to keep a check, keep an eye on the pulse of the market and see where it goes. I'm expecting somewhere around 200K, 240, something like that.
You think over 200K?
Sorry?
You think over 200K?
I think it's possible. I don't like giving predictions because they're not worth
some high
anything,
hopes,
right?
man.
Sorry?
I'm good with that if it happens, but you got some high hopes.
Well, this is what the market's looking like. And the fact that it's pumped so fast Bob Lucas has this theory of what's called a left translated cycle, where the market pumps sooner than it's supposed to, but not as high. So if anybody wants to get more information on that, Bob Lucas on Twitter has a lot of information on that, and you can also join his like group bitcoin.live, and he explains it a lot better over there. And it's interesting to see because the guy is a trader. He's been a trader for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, something like that. And this is not some...
Handles Stratwhaler.
Sorry?
His handle's Stratwhaler, musician, business owner, Bitcoin, this guy.
Let me see. No, Bob Lucas, spelled like this.
Lucas.
K.
Oh, Luck.
B-O-B.
Lucas. That's a Greek name.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So I had some other guy there that's trying to write off that. All right, give him a follow and see what he's got. Speaking of Twitter, this is something that Moff and I were sort of having a look at the other day. There's this fella named Dan who's single. And I thought I would table this just to sort of have a quick conversation. So he's got this reasons why I'm single over here. I'm a massive overthinker. I care too deeply. I'm a be safe type of guy. Message me when you get home. Have a good night type of guy. I have so much energy. I give my all to people who don't give me half back. I would do anything to make someone happy, even if it means I get hurt in the process. I need reassurance all the time. I'll push you away when I feel the energy isn't reciprocated. I love old school romance, and that's just not a thing for our generation.
So basically, he's a nerd, a nice guy, and has avoidance issues.
Everything he said screams of weakness. Everything. It's just like he's got a nice guy. He looks like some guy. His picture is like some guy who got called into the principal's office in school, and he's waiting to get told off.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got that baby face sort of look to him, eh?
He also put that he's a Scorpio in the comments after, so he buys into that shit.
Oh, so he's one of those like, I'm a Scorpio.
Only followers can reply. Yeah.
He's not that bad looking, though.
No, I don't think so either. But it's
you need a little bit of ruggedness to your look if you're a dude. He doesn't have much ruggedness to his look, right?
This is just so feminine. Like this whole thing is such feminine, chickish behavior. Like, why are you posting on X? Like, you're basically looking for sympathy at this point. You're looking for people to look down and tell you, "Oh, it's okay, little buddy. Like you'll find the one day." Like this is just attention seeking and very female behavior.
And now look at the opposite end of the spectrum. Don't know if you've discussed it already, but Professor or Dr. Huberman this week, the Atlantic done a hit piece on him because he was like Chad ramming 5 or 6 chicks at the one time. And, I discussed this last night at the bar with my LTR, and I pulled up pictures and video of him. And
thanks for coming in late and talking about the same thing we already covered 50.
fuck off. Oops,
Actually, the dude's in pretty good shape. He looks like a fitness guy, but he just looks like a baby. Yeah. And he's like a super nice guy. Look at that face. That's the face of a baby. Baby face boy.
All of that stuff goes down the drain if you don't have any, charisma or game. And the guy seems to think that just by ticking off all these boxes, without any personality or, the whole list he said was just literally apologizing for being himself.
Yeah, pretty much. Apologizing for being a man, which is the best way to turn off chicks.
What about now that we have 50 on? And Rich, this is something I wanted you to talk about too, because like you've been dropping weight like crazy, dude. Like, I mean, you usually walk around like 215-ish, and you've just been like tanking. Like, what are you now? Like 205 almost? On like 200-ish?
Last time I stepped on a scale, I was 210. So the fat's coming off, the muscle's going up.
Yeah. So like, what are some things that you've been doing? Like, because you've been doing some new things recently, or you had some tests done, and you had some like evals that really kind of supercharged this for you.
Tremble.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say it was something like trend, but
Jeez,
everybody that I've talked to
you
about
do
trend
not
is
want
like,
to do trend, dude.
don't ever touch that stuff. It's
No,
it's
that's
going to ruin you.
it's the worst one you can do. Yeah,
I mean,
no.
if
My
it had a
God.
higher safety profile, then I'd mess with it. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm opposed to it.
Dude,
Like I've used,
it's the worst
I've used
thing
Deca,
ever.
I've used Anavar, I've used Primobolan.
Yeah,
You know, it's what I call TRT plus. It's like you take what the doctor
Right.
gives you and then you add a little plus to it. It's like turning up the volume on a fucking stereo from 10 to like
Yeah,
11.
yeah.
That's all that is.
VAT, you
No.
add VAT.
No, I'm not really doing anything extra on the supplement side. One of the things I am focusing on though is improving nitric oxide, which is really important for pumps in the gym, pumps in the bedroom, plasticity of your cardiovascular health, your heart, you know, your arteries and all that sort of stuff. Breathing through your nose is super important for that. There's a lot of things that you can take which improve nitric oxide. I've got a supplement in my line, which is Alpha Pump, which is basically a nitric oxide booster. There's some goofballs that think that it's a creatine product, but it's not. They just add some creatine in it, you know, for a little up. But when you put in things like L-citrulline and L-arginine, you can use that in the gym. You can use that, you know, if you want to take it an hour before, you know, you want to go for Pound Town, you know, with your girl, then you'll get a extra bump in the bedroom too. So nitric oxide, something that I've been playing with. Beets are really good for that. I'm trying this new, I got it on my desk right now. It's called Nox Boost. It's basically like beetroot powder, but in a capsule that sort of, you know, will dissolve on your tongue. But it's just training and discipline, Moff. You know, trying to stay away from the shitty food, you know, stay on top of the better food, limiting calories, especially in the evening, because you want to try to sleep on an empty stomach to get a good night's rest. But ideally, I'd like to target about 205 by the time the summertime rolls around, but mostly fat burn and maintaining the muscle size. You're dropping weight though. Like I saw some of the pictures of you on the scale. Where are you at right now?
Well, to clear up a little confusion, so I posted something. One of the guys in the 10% sent us a picture. We have like a separate, you know, fitness and diet group chat, and he sent a picture of him being 199, and he's like, "This is the first time the first number on the scale hasn't been a 3 or a 2 since he was 14 years old."
Okay.
So I reposted that, and then people thought I was under 200 pounds. No, that would be crazy. I'm sitting around 220 right now. I'd like to get down to 205 ish. And yeah, man, I'm working like a freaking madman. Like I'm probably putting in, I mean, I'm doing my regular weight training first thing in the morning. And then I'm doing easily like 20,000 steps a day. So I'll lift first thing. As soon as I'm done lifting, I'll do an hour of incline treadmill, like nothing crazy, 3 miles an hour, like 6% incline. I'll do that for an hour. I'll come home. I'll either, depending on how, you know, full my stomach is, I always eat before I train. So I always have a pre-workout meal. I do not weight lift fasted. But I'll come home around probably 11 a.m. I'll probably have lunch within the hour. I'll let that settle for a little while. Then I'll go for a walk. Either if the sun is nice, if the sun is out and it's hot and the UV rays are good, I'll just pop the shirt off and walk around for about an hour, and then I'll get some sun. If it's not, I'll throw a ruck on of like 20 pounds and I'll ruck. But that's another 45 minutes.
Though, right?
Yeah, always after I eat.
Yeah.
And then I let it settle for a little while, and then I do another, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, just depending on how long it takes. Then I'll come back, hammer out some work, and then around 5 or 6, I'll go down to the gym in my apartment complex, and I'll do another hour of incline treadmill, same settings. So that usually gets me to around 21,000, 22,000 steps per day. And I don't do HIIT exercise. I don't do a lot of high intensity, cardio, because I want to burn fat, not carbs. But that's been my routine for the last like 2 weeks. And it's worked. Been working well.
Yeah, you get down there. There's a guy in the comment asking about height versus weight for 205. So I'm about 6'2". Me aiming for 205 would be ideal for my height. That's where I usually look generally best. Even under 200, like I was 193 when I was like just shredded, but that was before TRT. Like the thing with TRT is you'll put on weight, like you'll put on bone mass, you'll put on muscle mass, you'll do some water retention. I'd say it's like
I blew up
probably
to 260.
50% muscle mass, and then like another 30% bone density, and then the rest of it's just like water weight.
Yeah, I hit my 30th workout, CrossFit. So I joined 2 months ago, and I've been averaging 3 workouts a week, and it's the first time I've actually seen stuff change physically with me.
Yeah.
I just I don't have enough discipline to work myself out at the gym, so I've just been part of a class. Like some of the metabolic conditioning they do is it's ridiculous, the cardio.
Yeah, the cardio aspect's really important too. Moff, you still boxing on Saturdays?
Yeah, every Saturday. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done it the last my trip. My coach has been out in Vegas doing some cornering for some fights, so hasn't been the last 2 weeks. But every Saturday, 9 a.m., we're hitting the mitts, hitting the pads, and doing that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I've been doing that as well.
Yeah, you'll get there by the summertime, man. No trouble at all.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dragos, did you hear about your favorite drug? Ozempic is they're manufacturing it for $5, but they're selling it for $1,000.
I don't know, man. I'm getting mine from China.
It's the big pharma companies that are ripping off the fatties now.
Yeah, like I don't know for like what it sells in the U.S. I buy mine for about $300 for 30 milligrams.
It's about right. U.S. is going for a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's good enough for me. I only take like 3 milligrams per week, so that's super low dose, but it's like everything I need.
And that just suppresses your appetite, so you're not hungry. Yeah.
I mean, it suppresses my appetite enough that it's not a conscious effort for me to not eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than an appetite suppress. It makes you digest food slower. That's really what it is. Like it makes you fuller longer because your food is digesting more slowly. Like I was on semaglutide when I was really heavy, like 260 when I was at my top. And I've probably been off of it for, I don't know, a couple of months. Like since the forum, I've been off of it. It was not as easy as I thought. It felt like I was bulking on 2,000 calories because I still need to get 200 grams of protein. I still need to be able to get that stuff in so I don't shrink and my muscle doesn't go away. So anybody thinking that it's just this hack or that it's just so easy to do, try it, see how it works. Right? You can't. It's going to be tough to get enough calories, especially enough protein in. It feels like every meal you're force feeding yourself. So it's kind of a pick your poison, right? So for me, it was still tough to do it, even though I was losing weight, but I still had to eat like my ass off. And I was never hungry. So every meal felt like, it was just a slog to get through.
I think you were taking too much.
Possibly. If whatever I had was prescribed by a doc. It was because it got progressive, right? So you start with a certain amount, and then over a certain number of weeks, it has to go up and up and up and up. Like your doses increase. But at least that's what I was prescribed. Like it was more I use every like 4 weeks. I would increase the dosage.
I understand what you were prescribed, but this is why you had issues with having to force feed yourself.
Yeah,
is because of the titration. I think that's bullshit. I never went more than the minimum dose, which is like 3 milligrams of tirzepatide per week, and that's all I take it. It's enough for me to, like, when I go out for a meal with some friends or something in a social gathering, it's enough for me to get like some turkey or something, eat that, don't eat the carbs, don't eat French fries, don't do stupid shit, don't eat like a salad with 10 pounds of sauce on it, and still enjoy the food, still be in a social setting, but don't mess up your diet. And everything, the minimum dose is super effective for me, and it's been so for a long time. So if you increase, it's not necessarily that you're getting a better result.
Interesting.
The other thing that I forgot to mention is I think that the cold plunging helps too. There's a lot of I was doing it mostly for the productivity and the focus and the dopamine sort of surge that you get out of it. But, when you go in that thing for a couple minutes, you get out, you don't towel off, you just sort of shiver dry. It activates, your metabolism, especially early on in the morning. And it's super cheap to do, especially if you live in a cooler climate. Like you just get a stocked tank, which is what they use to feed horses and cattle. They're I got mine from Princess Auto. It was $180. It's like a Rubbermaid tank. It's 100 gallons. And in the colder months in the winter, I just kept it in the garage so it didn't freeze over. And I just clean out the garage so I can get both the cars out of storage and stick them in there again. And I just put it on the patio because it's like it goes down to -1, -2 at night. During the day, it's 10, 12 degrees. So it's constantly around, like the low single digits. It's perfect, and it's practically free to use.
I'm in Florida, so I'm pretty much screwed.
Yeah, you're fucked. You gotta
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta open a place.
Yeah, sorry, just changing subject. Something that that was kind of amazed me from one of the guys in the 1% group was his use of AI over the last few months and how he explained to us what he uses it for and how he uses it. I think it's pretty mind blowing.
Are you talking about Steve from accounting?
Steve from accounting, yeah. So people out there who've only started delving into AI and using it, he subscribes. I think it's $20 a month. So what he done was he took the whole entire PDF of the child custody code for the country he's in, and he uploaded it to one of the AI bots he made. People who are more into AI probably know what I'm talking about. And then every time he gets an email from his ex-wife, he tells AI to answer it in the tone of a 57-year-old judge who's been on the bench for 30 years against this thousands of pages of documents, and it literally spits out a paragraph or two for him. So he's doing that with several different. It's mind blowing what he's done with it.
That's a business right there, because guys get hammered by emails and texts from their ex after they split up relentlessly about some of the dumbest bullshit. And if you can have an AI bot that understands law in your country and can produce a useful response, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I was writing a response email to a client, and my LTR is a teacher, and I was going to say to her, I said, "Well, can you correct this?" Because you know what I'm like, spelling mistakes, left, right. I couldn't write to save my life. And she says, "Yeah, give me a minute." But I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I said, "Correct all the spelling mistakes, make it more formal and authoritative."
Mm-hmm.
And it took about 10 seconds, and then I passed it off to her, and she goes, "This is perfect. There's not a single mistake here."
Not a single mistake.
Not a single mistake. And then another time, I wrote a proposal to a client. I said I wanted it. I said bullet point this line item, and give me a bottom line price of this. This is the tone I want it in, and this is the person I'm writing it to. And it spat it out. I made a couple of corrections, put it on Microsoft Word, sent it to the client, and got a response within an hour. It's mind blowing, but I really think Steve from accounting should give a more general explanation or a video of what he's done, because it just blew my mind. Because if you're working in construction or medicine and you have a big reference file to go through and you upload this thing to it and then you bounce questions off it, it's amazing.
Interesting.
This is still narrow intelligence, right? So for specialized tasks, they already have something way more advanced than this internally at OpenAI and some other places working on it, and they're going to release it sometime this year, and it's going to be groundbreaking, because that's the moment that you can actually replace employees with the software.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a huge shift where companies are going to stop hiring people or dismiss people and use AI, because it's almost free in comparison.
Right now, it's at the level where it can make the life of your employees easier, but it cannot necessarily replace those employees.
Replace them just yet, yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be compounded by the bots, the humanoid robots, because one link that's missing is the physical labor, right? For example, you can have a tire shop changing tires that's staffed by a bot to deposit tires, move them, whatever, that because it's also kind of physical work, and they never tire.
I don't think you're going to have robots replace auto mechanics just yet.
I was just talking about a tire shop where it's like a relatively easy, not
Swapping
complex.
tires isn't as easy as you think. I used to do it in high school. I worked in a co-op placement, I think when I was 16 or 17 for about 4 months, and I did a lot of brake jobs, a lot of tire swaps, a lot of machining work, a lot of tune-ups and stuff like that. And there's a lot of intricacies. See, robots are very good at building cars because it's like spot weld, paint here,
Deterministic.
screw in here. Yeah, like very procedural. But when it comes to like modifiers and slight changes or intricacies, I don't think they've got the capacity to adapt as quickly as humans can still.
Definitely. And
But
I
we'll get
don't
there
think
one
they
point.
should, but just now adapt. Maybe
Yeah.
we should put a break on that.
You know what I was thinking about the other day, man? There was a statement made somewhere about trades guys because there's a lot less people going into trades, and there's a greater demand for work in that area. I think you're going to see a spike in the compensation or the hourly rate, and there's got to be some push to get more guys into trades, man.
Yeah. Peter Zahan had a talk that I listened to on YouTube. He talked about the demographics and the generations, right?
Doesn't that guy hate crypto?
I don't know.
That's that gay dude that talks about like China and Russia and
Geopolitics, yeah.
geopolitics. Yeah, okay, all right.
Patrick
But I
Bet
think-
David, he's spoken out. I watched a couple of his videos lately about the trades, and there's a transit authority near me, and the welders with overtime are clearing $150 a year.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the point that when after the Second World War, you had a lot of people into trades, and then not a lot of people that had degrees. So then you had this generation that were all aiming to get degrees. So now you have a lot of people that have grown up, went through high school, went through college, got the degrees, have started working, and their kids have been educated to get degrees as well, but nobody's taking care of the trades. And the generation that used to do that is kind of dying out. So now you have a shortage of trades, but an oversupply of people with degrees and not enough jobs for the people with degrees.
Well, a lot of those people with degrees that are looking for work or have work will be in a position of, hey, my job's been eliminated. What do I do now?
Yeah. Well, I guess UBI is coming for them.
UBI is here. CBDCs are here and going to be rolled out at greater levels.
Oh my God, Europe is becoming really dystopian with the CBDCs.
Wow, what's happening?
Sorry?
What's happening?
They're putting out this digital ID, and they're taking a lot of measures against crypto wallets and putting a lot of brakes on anything resembling anonymity on crypto. And they're coming out with their own version of the CBDC, which will be a distributed ledger type of currency, and it will be programmable. And you're going to get to the point that China is right now, where if you post something online that it's not appropriate, you will not be able to get a train
Dude,
ticket.
it's already happening. It happens in Australia all the time. It happens in England all the time. If you post something on social media the government doesn't like, they'll send the cops to your house.
Yeah, but they'll send the cops to your house, talk to you, whatever. You won't have this app that will turn red when you want to buy a train ticket or a bus ticket.
Right. Not yet.
Which
yeah,
is-
but that's
Right,
next.
that's happening in China right now.
Yeah.
Some guy filmed it, I think, a few months ago, and he was showing like, "Hey, man, I'm going. My credit score is bad, or was it called social score?
social credit.
I'm trying to get a ticket, and the machine is saying red. I can't do it." So they have less liberties than normal people. Like they cannot go to concerts, they cannot go to events, stuff like that. And it's coming. Like I see a world where we're gonna be forced to eat protein from, I don't know, bugs or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, that'll be the whole carbon footprint thing where you go to the grocery store and you've got too low of a social credit score and you try to buy some steaks and the cash register or like the cashier doesn't let you check out and she hands you a bag of bugs instead because you've exceeded your credits or your carbon credit limits.
Yeah, and it's coming to places like where I live as well. They're talking about introducing tax on real estate, tax on holding real estate, progressive tax on income, a lot of stuff like that that's already in the West. That's not going great for the West, but they want to do it here as well because, why not? We need more money for the government.
Yeah, welcome to the fucking future, man.
Yeah,
grab those super chats, Muff?
It's so dystopian and it's so weird for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get one of them.
How do we achieve long-lasting peace with women and stopping the awful war between men and women? Harmony and peace between men and women. The gender war needs to end. Thanks. We have competing sexual strategies. We always have had them. We always will have them. What men want compete with what women want. What women want compete with what men want. Should we be working together more? Yeah, I think, a good woman can be a compliment to your life and a man can certainly be useful to a woman's life. But we live in a state today where the competing strategy that we have organically anyway is just the chasm is being pushed further apart now because like all men are toxically masculine and you've got the issues with women too, right? And all that's amplified, in today's world with social media, lack of accountability. Men are no longer at the head of the household. The government is, and so are women. So it's like you need to start changing those things before you're going to change anything else.
I think that question was framed wrong. Because
Explain.
I think the question should have been framed like, how do I fix my issues in regards to this and this and this, as opposed to fixing the issue between men and women. Like, don't try to save the world. Fix your own issues. Have a nice life. Get that ideal.
We've said this before. Like everybody wants to fix the world, right? Like, how do we fix the world? How do we fix this part of the world?
Why do you care? Like, is it your job? Are you Jesus or something?
What's that, Muff?
No, yeah, exactly. Why? I mean, and there's no moral dilemma. I mean, we talk about red pill, like it is what it is. Like we're talking about nature and how things have evolved naturally. It's not immoral, it's not amoral, it's not right or wrong. It just is what it is.
And it's not the dilemma.
Yeah, it's just a complete misunderstanding of the way things work. So yeah, this is just, I understand for whatever reason people want to live in some fairy tale world where everybody just gets along and everything's just equal and everybody's happy. Like, doesn't exist, and it hasn't ever existed. And people are, I mean, if you take a look at from beginning of civilization to now, I mean, it's not even arguable that things are better than they were tens of thousands of years ago. We're more together now than we ever have been. I mean, things are starting to kind of trend in a little bit of a downturn for sure in the last 50 or 60 years. But, I mean, we're not invading other people's tribes or encampments and killing each other. And there's not a lot of conquering that's going on. I mean, the war in Ukraine notwithstanding. So again, there's a lot of buying into the fear mongering. There's a lot of buying into the noise. And to your guys' point, like fix your own house, fix your own circle, and be concerned with that. And then you'll generally be okay. But to sit here and think that, we need to end some mythical gender war, like it's wasted energy. It's wasted time.
Yeah. It's always been that way, guys. It's like, you got to surrender to a lot of the realities of the world that we live in today. And guys still struggle, with it. Like, how do we fix government? How do we fix taxation? How do we fix relationships? And it's like, if you're broke, fat, and you're not doing what you want in life, you should focus on that first, right? Like, deal with that, and you can at least control your inner circle. And when you have some control of people within your inner perimeter and what you do and how you deal with them, you don't care so much about people's voting policies or stuff like that. You just have a plan. You have a strategy. You're more anti-fragile, right? Become anti-fragile is really what I'm driving at. Because when you're at that point, shit like that doesn't really matter to you because you can't control it anyway.
there's another mistake in that question, in the sense that it's not a dilemma, it's a problem. There's this guy, I think Ryan Macbeth is his name. He's a military analyst on YouTube. He says that whenever possible, you want to give your opponent a dilemma, not a problem, to solve. A dilemma has more ways of being solved, and you spend time trying to find which one is the best way. A problem just has one solution and one way of being solved, right? So it's not a dilemma in the sense of what can be done to solve this issue. It's a problem in the sense that we have a divide between men and women. There's a competing sexual strategy. Men have to be men, women have to be women. Of course, not talking about all of the alphabet soup type of thing. I'm talking about like straight, normal people that, like, for the example of this discussion. So you just have to do your best at being a man, and she has to do her best at being a woman. And that's kind of like the solution.
Seems simple when you explain it that way, but there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, right?
Yeah, and the road to heaven is paved like what's it called? Good intentions?
Mm-hmm.
What's the saying, the metaphor?
I don't know.
The road to heaven is paved with good intentions. Like, you end up doing mistakes in the name of something that you think is good.
Right. Yep. Sensible. We got anything else that we want to cover this week, guys, before we wrap up? No? Got it all covered, baby? All right. We got a panel for tomorrow night. Last week we had to cancel ladies' night because we had too many flakes.
We should be all right. I got to send out a round of confirmations today. We'll see how it goes. We should be all right, though.
All right. Well,
there should be like a pot of money, like a prize, like of some kind of behavior that you want to promote from these women, that they can get from the votes of the guys.
It's just showing up, man.
It's just, all you got to do is turn your damn computer on and be somewhere for 90 minutes. Like, this shit ain't hard. I'm not saying you need to get up, drive across town, like, it's easy.
I know what
there's no
you're
bags
saying.
to pack. There's no flight to take. There's no, transportation
I'm
arranged
saying
from one
that.
place
I'm
to
just
another. It's just grab your phone or your computer and click a link and say, hey.
I think I know where the issue is, though.
What is it?
I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody's offering to bang these chicks.
Well, that's what's
Have
one
you
of the
seen
things
a
I
lot of
was
the
trying to
panels that we've
say.
had, man? They're like not even touchable sometimes.
That's one of the things that I was trying to bring up. It's like, look, we get a lot of single girls that come on these shows, right? And it's like, look, we'll get 10,000 views on the long form shows, but we can get 100,000 views on clips.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're single and you want to be taken seriously by a guy, like, come on here and pitch yourself. There might be a dude out there that might want to scoop you up. But they'd rather argue and want to be right.
Yeah.
Provide us with an affiliate OnlyFans link.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, you'll get those. Whatever. It's all good in the hood. All right. So, we'll bid you guys a great day today. Happy Easter Sunday and all the good stuff. If that's what you're up to. But we'll be back on Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Moff and I with a ladies' night panel, and we got Wednesday noon, and Thursday we got Moff's hours. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell if you want to catch anything coming up this week. And that's it. See you guys later. Have an awesome.
See you guys.
Have an awesome day.